4, 3, 2, 1. I told you before to be careful where you put your legs.
I was only trying to be helpful.
I can help myself.
What are you waiting for? Come on. Come on. What are you waiting for? Come on. Come on.
For 7 decades, Michael Caine has been among the world's most renowned and recognisable actors.
It was just what I needed. A 1-inch god with a 2-inch penis.
Star of classics like Zulu, The Man Who Would Be King, and The Cider House Rules.
It's a miracle no one was killed.
But also films that brought his career to the brink of complete implosion.
I made a mistake.
Somehow, he has always found a way back.
You're a big man, but you're in bad shape. With me, it's a full-time job.
In this epic podcast series, we will watch and review every Michael Caine movie, from the greatest hits...
You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off!
...to the incredible misses.
You failed to maintain your weapon, son.
And take a deep dive into the life and work of one of the world's most recognisable film stars.
His name is Michael Caine, and no one will forget his name.
Behave yourself.
To understand how he has made the mark of Caine.
Well, you all settled in? Right, we can begin. For God's sake, come in!
Hello and welcome. Mark of Caine, our ongoing tour of duty through the undergrowth of the extraordinary film career. Hacking our way through all manner of heavy brush and bamboo, hoping at one point, at some stage, to stumble out into the wide open expanse of a good movie, which has, in fairness, it has happened from time to time. Joining me as always on this trip is Stephen Black of the Mallow News Twitter family. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm amazing. Thanks for asking.
Oh, that's good. You're amazed.
So, because normally, like we don't really talk before the podcast, and I get the feeling that this is just transactional for you. Like I feel like a bit of like a sex worker who's just here, hit record, perform, and then afterwards just clean yourself up with a mop there, and your money's in the nightstand. So this is nice. It's nice to know that you're making eye contact. You're asking me about my day, and sometimes you just want to talk rather than doing any kind of hand stuff or whatever.
Listen, I just came here to talk about a movie. But if you want to talk, is there anything you want to share with us? This feels like something. I have to say, the last couple of episodes, I have got the feeling that you're looking at this now with some kind of therapy. Can I just say, right now, if you're looking at this as some kind of therapeutic exercise, go somewhere else for your therapeutic exercise.
I think this is more of a cause for therapy rather than an actual route of therapy, to be honest with you.
Yeah, we kind of know where this is going to end up. It's going to end up lining the pockets of a psychotherapist somewhere. Who will then end up going, what the hell did you even start doing this for in the first place?
Michael Caine can't hurt you. He's not here. He's not in the room.
Yeah, he can hurt us. He doesn't have to be anywhere near us to hurt us. We're kind of, speaking of I suppose, where your head's at, in terms of Caine right now, we're kind of it's kind of domestic Caine bliss era right now, isn't it? He's married and he has fathered again. He's got the big pile in the countryside, the big mansion. It's all kind of very calm and nice. In
around the Black Windmill now, he's cut down on the drinking. I think he's just on the fortified wine. Pottering around the garden.
Yeah.
He's shacked up with Shaq IRA. Expecting birth of their first child together. Very exciting times.
Lovely times. Yeah, Natasha is his daughter, who arrived in 1973, and he, as you point out, he marries Shaq IRA, or Shakira, as the rest of the world knows her, in early 73. So he's bought this place. He's living in a place called Mill House in Windsor. And it was bought by Jimmy Page many years later. But there's some nice pictures of Caine from the era now, kind of getting down and dirty with the carrots in the garden and sort of, doing the whole. I think I described it as it's a bit like John Lennon's bread making era period. This now, but to be fair, like once Natasha arrives, like every new father, he decides very quickly it's time to go back to work. So what am I doing around here? It's time to get back to work.
Absolutely. I mean, like Mill House won't pay for itself. It's to go out there and start making the big bucks, make those blockbusters again.
Yeah, chalk it down. And actually, I came across an interview on YouTube where I think it's 73. It must be 73. He's talking about moving in. He's talking about the price of extensions. Yeah, he says to the interviewer, it's Sue Lawley, a very young Sue Lawley from the BBC desert island discs and all that later. He says to Sue Lawley, he says, have you ever built an extension? And she's kind of looking at him, and he goes, it doesn't matter what size it is. It just kicks over your mind. I'm like, going, man, you're loaded. You've bought a mansion and you're building an extension. Like, you're grand. Relax.
Yeah, I mean, like we're all for peeping behind the curtain of celebrity, but sometimes, you know, the curtain should stay drawn when it's so mundane.
Oh,
tell us about your sex parties with your famous Hollywood stars, by all means, but, you know, not about your arguments with the builder over how much fucking insulation you should be putting into the walls in your extension.
Exactly. I mean, yeah. This is settled Caine. This is settled Caine era now. The crimpy haircuts trimmed back. He looks very healthy in this movie, it has to be said. He's definitely, as you say, back down to the fortified wine at the very least. Definitely off the sauce in the way he was. Imagine it's 10 years. He's 40 now. It's 1974, by the way we are. We're in 1974. He's been a star now for 10 years and he's 40. Imagine 10 years in Zulu, Stephen. Feels like about 20 years doing this bloody thing, but anyway.
Yeah, it's like dog years.
It really is. So he's coming back from what amounts to a sabbatical, really. For a chap who, like, you know, made 4 movies in 1 year in the 60s once, he's coming back after, it's pretty much a year off. And he's returning with the British spy kidnappy thing. I think he's in cruise mode, really, in this movie from 1974 called The Black Windmill. Trailer!
The ultimate exercise in controlled terror.
Should my grip relax on this trigger, it'll detonate enough explosive to rip your guts out.
Michael Caine in The Black Windmill.
They are going to kill him, aren't they?
No!
My name is Drabble. Drabble speaking. Drabble speaking.
Drabble?
You're not the man I spoke to just now.
There's more than one Drabble.
Who is Drabble? Drabble. 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 Drabble.
I don't give a damn about security.
And we want to know if you've succeeded in penetrating the sabotage ring yet.
It's stuck! I can't get over!
Yeah, so, okay, first of all, I want to start off with misleading titles. Okay. So this movie is called The Black Windmill. I don't know about you, I hear a title like The Black Windmill, I kind of go, great. Caine is playing a witchfinder general. It's during the British Civil War. He's been asked to go to a town that's mysteriously be left untouched by plague or has been ravaged by war or whatever. He goes and all the locals are a bit odd and they say, don't go near the Black Windmill, and finds out eventually, you know, that they're sacrificing kids and they're grinding their bones to make their bread or something like that. I think it's, you know, kind of like a Hammer horror kind of vibe to it. This would be good. And this is Black Windmill. This is just, you say cruise control. Well, actually, I'd say it's more Neeson control because it's an awful lot like the Liam Neeson movie Taken in that regard.
Okay. Yeah. Go on.
Sorry, fucking yeah. Okay, I'm gonna start. Do you want to go through the plot machinations here before we go into discussing it?
All right. Okay.
Do your painted Mick Foley synopsis.
Let me paint you a picture. It's 1974. This is the Black
Dick Willis. You can do it.
Like the Black Windmill, it's literally like there's literally a black windmill that appears very late in the movie, and that's the only fucking reference to a black windmill in the whole bloody thing. Anyway, yeah, plot. So it's Mick Caine. He's back. It's a British spy thriller, kind of, you know, in slightly kind of incompetent kind of spy along the lines of Harry Palmer, kind of. But again, as Stephen says, we get into that properly. The plot essentially starts out with 2 kids playing on an abandoned military base, and they get picked up by some RAF personnel for trespassing. But they ain't RAF personnel, you know. They've been kidnapped. So it comes back to Major Tarrant, who's Caine, and he's working as an undercover agent trying to infiltrate a group smuggling arms to Northern Ireland. Topical from 1974, and he approaches a woman called Celia he's looking to link in with this organization. So that's fine. Then it cuts back to a large country house where all these top spooks are meeting, and Tarrant is there. He takes a call during the meeting from his wife, who tells him that she's after getting a call to say their son has been kidnapped. He's very calm, doesn't kind of overreact or anything, heads home, takes a call from a guy who calls himself Drabble, who wants to speak to Harper, who's Tarrant's superior. He's played by Donald Pleasance. And Drabble wants £500,000 or something like that worth of diamonds. Coincidentally, the precise amount of diamonds recently acquired by Harper. And Drabble wants Tarrant, or Harper actually, sorry, he wants Harper to go to Paris with him. So, it's clearly an inside job. So Harper assumes that Tarrant, Caine, is the inside man. And the Drabble gang, meanwhile, are setting Tarrant up to make it look like he has a relationship with this group and that he is indeed the inside man. Harper says he won't be given in to the ransom demand, so Tarrant steals the diamonds and splits for Paris, which obviously makes it look even more criminal. In Paris, he meets Celia again, who brings with this building where his son apparently is, and it's clearly not there. Drabble makes some reference to him being in a place where he has a view of 2 windmills. Possibly one of them is black. There's a bit of a scrap. Caine is knocked out. Tarrant is knocked out. Drabble gets the diamonds. And then for some reason that's really very difficult to understand, Drabble turns around and kills Celia and leaves an unconscious Tarrant beside the dead body. Tarrant gets arrested by French police, but then gets freed. Again, why? Gets freed by the Drabble gang. He splits back to England, figures out the Drabble gang were probably trying to get him killed when he was escaping, and figures out that, 2 windmills, blah, blah, blah. Where's my young lad? Yeah, I know where to go. So he goes there, calls then some of the senior British spies that we mentioned before to see who'll turn up at the windmills. And one chap called Sir Edward, the kind of the boss guy of the spies. And I feel like it's very basic kind of terminology to be using. But anyway, he's the boss of the spies. He turns up.
Spy boss.
Spy boss. He's spy boss. He turns up. Therefore, he's the inside guy. Tarrant uses him to get into the windmill, kills everybody, gets the young fella, and heads off home. And sure, that's about the long and the short of it, really.
Yeah, that's it.
Yes.
So yeah, let's start at the beginning.
Yep, off you go.
Opening credits. What the fuck is going on there? It's like some
It's like the Hills of Eyes or something.
The Hills. It's not even that. It's like fucking Kindergarten Cop. These colourful children's bricks are being used to spill out all the credits at the beginning. Yeah. These 2 kids fucking, gathering nuts in May, kind of fucking music going on in the background there.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying the Hills of Eyes. It's the music. It's that they're kind of just kind of kind of nursery rhymey crap. And and you got the Kindergarten.
We all fall down, we had the plague, and then we got right back up again, or whatever. Anyway. Yeah. And so, Grant, they trespass onto this RAF base. Then they're picked up by lads posing as RAF officers, and then they're kidnapped. Are this gang watching the 2 lads for like a couple of weeks going, right now, every Monday now they got swimming in the afternoon, Tuesday badminton, Wednesday trespassing. All right, so okay. So I don't know about you lads. Do you own any badminton whites? No, sorry, I don't. No. I got a few RAF uniforms.
Yeah.
Perfect. You know what we're gonna do? You know what we're gonna do? Because children are in no way idiots. We're gonna put on a massive fucking performance for them where we all dress up as we even procure an RAF Jeep.
Yeah.
Military Jeep. We pick them up. No. I, as the boss, won't be picking them up. We need a big team to kidnap 2 children now. Big team. 6 or 7 fucking people here now. We need to drive them back. We also need to maintain the facade the whole time that we are actually our members of the RAF in case the kids start to panic.
Yeah. But they did catch them out. They were clever kids. How did they cop that they weren't RAF guys? Can you remember?
Well, footwear, wasn't it? Yeah.
Snazzy shoes.
So, this bullshit. It's bullshit. None of this is fucking necessary. Really, just go up behind one of the kids and just cosh him over the back of the fucking head. Bish, bash, bash. Your job.
And by the way, in case people think that would be very, very rough for a film about hitting a child over the back of the head,
they still do that.
They do. They still cosh them even when they've kidnapped them, and they dose one of them with LSD. So it's not like a reverse.
They literally pick them up and stack them like fucking furniture in the back of the van.
It's the most elaborate. It's the most elaborately pointless kidnapping ever, and that continues on through all the stuff the Drabble gang could have done. I would say about 40% of what they did during this movie and gotten away with it.
Yeah, the whole framing them up by having the dirty picture, taking the dirty picture in Tarrant's flat as well. There was no need for that.
No need.
Just completely superfluous. They are not good with resource. No wonder they need so many diamonds, because clearly they're not good with money. They're not good with their spend.
No,
they need somebody in basically to review the ingoings and outgoings from a spend perspective and kind of rein that in and maybe operate their gang more efficiently. Maybe they have to let a few people go. Sorry, Barry, You didn't have the badminton whites when we wanted you. You only had RAF uniforms. We expect a bit more flexibility from our criminal associates.
I think this is a very good example, and particularly for the Drabble gang, I think this is a very good example as to why criminal gangs need some form of audit and risk committee set up to oversee things. I mean, it's not to take over, it's just to oversee things, streamline things, and avoid the kind of silliness that unfolds in this movie.
Yeah, we're not here to stop you from doing your job.
No.
We're here to make you better at doing your job.
Exactly. Because as it stands, the Drabble gang are pretty bad kidnappers, only saved really by the kind of general incompetence of Major Tarrant Caine as a spy, echoing back, of course, to Harry Palmer.
I'm not sure it's established how good a spy he is.
Yeah,
really, to be honest with you, it seems to be he seems more of a kind of a career military man rather than somebody who's well versed in spycraft. I think, despite the fact that, go on, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I think the big thing they're trying to get across, and like looking at the reviews, completely went over people's heads, and I'm kind of not sure why it went over people's heads, but they're trying to get it across that he's a career, military kind of spy guy in that way of Palmer, just doing it, and he's so completely devoid of emotion when his kid is kidnapped. The reason he's devoid of emotion is because the job has drained him of any emotion. And this is also why his marriage fell apart. They've focused so hard on getting that point across that they've forgotten completely to sort of get the idea across that he's a spy. Like, what do spies do, you know?
Yeah, so the focus is less on him as a spy and more of him as an emotionally dead father and husband.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's it. And I mean, that's fine to that, but there is no kind of steady devolution of his character or kind of a disintegration of his facade as he becomes more and more under pressure to try and resolve things. The only expression of emotion is when he's battering your man over the head with an iron bar towards the end of the movie. That's the only time where or the part where he manically winks.
Oh my God, the wink. We'll have to, I mean, I know that some time ago you put that up as a little GIF or whatever online. We're going to have to put that up again. That wink. What? I mean, how do you describe it? He's kind of, he winks, but while he's winking, his open eye, he kind of looks at his nose.
I have a theory. I think his eye muscles have atrophied so much from his acting technique, which is not to blink, is that he's unable to close them properly. So he has to employ kind of a counterweight system, so that as he closes one eye, the other eye has to open open really wide in order for the wink to function. But what it does have the effect of making him look like a complete and utter fucking lunatic. And it's also the smile as well, completely out of character for Tarrant. He gives this big goofy fucking smile and then a big wink.
Yeah, it's bizarro. Honestly, if you're like, go and find it. We will put this up on at Mark of Caine 2, at Mick Foley 76, at Mallow News. You've got to see this wink. It really looks like a guy who needs to go and see a specialist. It's really, really weird. You mentioned the zero blinking thing. I don't think this is something we've ever mentioned before. At school, his nickname was Snake Eyes because he never blinked. He saw it in a movie and he thought, okay, that'll make me look tougher.
I'm just gonna go call bullshit in that anyway.
All right, you can. It's a Caine anecdote, like, you know, you can take it whatever way you want.
Whenever I hear anybody say they had a really cool name at school, you know that's 100% the name that they gave themselves, and nobody else would adopt it.
What was your nickname? Southern Dandy, I think, was it? The Southern Dandy?
No, handsome cool guy. I just want to be referred to as handsome cool guy.
Yeah, I remember that stenciled across your denim jacket. All right.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're wandering around here. His performance, I suppose, is what we're on here. Can I mention? I've mentioned Cruising Caine. Can I mention Sports Caine very briefly?
Of course.
Sports Caine, as you know, like, I mean, he's not a man. It's been well proven at this stage. Sports is not his thing, which is kind of weird when, you know, we all know about Escape to Victory in a bunch of years' time. But Sports Caine is not a good Caine. However, credit where credit's due. He gives a tremendous athletic performance in this show. There is a chase scene through the London Underground where he looks very much like a chap who can run for the first time in a movie. And I'm putting that down to quitting the fags, Shakira sorted him out with the booze, and a year of growing vegetables and hanging out at home. He's the man. The man is in good shape.
Yes, he's come on leaps and bounds for the guy who looked like he was about to have a cardiac arrest after running 5 steps in the beach in Gay Carter, you know?
Oh my God, 3 years is made. He's on. I don't think he's on a program, but inadvertently he got on a program, and now he looks the business. The
The only fellow I feel sorry for is the guy they used to employ to hold the oxygen tank just off camera.
Yeah, he's going to go and find another job now. I think he got a job in the Home Office. What you call it? Accents again. And the thing is that he puts on, I would say, maybe 3 accents.
Yeah,
and
this is the spycraft. This is the spycraft.
This spycraft, yes,
spycraft.
Yes.
Putting on fucking accents.
Yeah.
Putting on accents that rational human beings would not fall for. Okay, I think we need to start with Donald Pleasant's performance in this.
Yes.
And I'm going to blame Don Siegel for this.
Okay. And let's just go back there a second, okay? Because we are jumping here like grasshoppers around the place. So Donald Pleasant's, obviously, I mentioned Donald Pleasant's in the plot. He's Caine's superior in the show. Don Siegel, by the way, is the director. People may know the name. This guy directed Dirty Harry's, not 2 movies. I think Dirty Harry was 2 movies before this movie. So this is to be a match made in heaven. But anyway, sorry, carry on. You can start with Donald Pleasance and let's talk accents.
Yeah, so Donald Pleasance puts in this bizarre performance as an OCD, button-down, repressed member of the British elite that for some reason, whenever he's talking, has to stroke and tug at his moustache. Now, I fucking guarantee you at no place in the script does it say, as part of the script going, always tugs at his moustaches. I guarantee Donald Pleasance, Don, dear boy, do you know what I think my character would do? I think whenever under moments of extreme stress, or just about when he's about to talk, or whenever he does anything, he will tug at his moustache.
Yes.
And Don Siegel should have gone, that's a great idea, Donald. But, we might do a take at that. And we might also do a take where you don't do that because you look like a fucking maniac. It's the most affected. I am putting in a method performance. I have immersed myself entirely in this character. You will see Donald Pleasance, the man, the actor, disappear. You will see the man, Harper, emerge.
Yeah, which essentially amounts to mustache tugging and also the cleaning of phlegm from his lips constantly.
Yeah, it's just a fucking dreadful performance, to be honest with you.
Terrible. But the accent.
Yeah, so... Okay, so Caine is forced. Well, he's not forced at any stage to do this.
No, he's not forced. This is my point. In the other movies, we've seen terrible accents from him. It's been part of his character. Deep South accent in Hurry Sundown, the German accent in The Last Valley, all the rest of them. Yeah. He's had to do them. The Scottish accent where he had to apologise to the entire nation and kidnapped. This stuff is stuff like that some idiot has written into the script, or worse again, possibly Caine has gone, you know what I think might work here if I do some impersonation, pretend to be somebody else. And Don Siegel has gone, yeah, you've done 10 years of rep.
But it's not even that. Like, so this is where we're focusing on in terms of his spycraft. He's somebody he's such a chameleon. He makes no effort to disguise what he looks like when he's trying to get back into England from fucking France. He does not change his clothes, does not change his appearance. But he's just what is he?
Takes his glasses off. That's it.
No, I'm an audio spy only. You want me to ring up to be? You want me to ring somebody up and pretend to be the Russian premier? I could do it. You want me to dress like put on a fake mustache or like wear different clothes? No, sorry, a bridge too far for me.
Yep.
So yeah, he has to pretend. I know. Yeah. He has to pretend to be. Harper on a phone call in order to what was this? Is it? Why does he pretend to? Why can't he even remember? Why does he have
it is something to do with because Harper wouldn't release the diamonds. I think it's really doesn't matter.
He rings the office, the office where the diamonds are stored, the security deposit box, and pretends to be Harper saying, I want to make a booking to go in to do it, but makes no effort to sound in any way like Donald Pleasance's character.
He puts a hanky over the receiver and then kind of affects a kind of a feet accent of sorts. I'm convinced it was dubbed. I'm convinced it doesn't look right to me. I think he tried it, and Don Siegel went, "Yeah, that's fine," and then off camera kind of went, "Just get someone to do that."
Yeah, it sounds awful. And in those stages, the person, are you okay, sir? You sound like you're coming down with a cold, or the usual kind of.
Are you well?
It's usually a hat tip to the audience from the director's perspective of going, yeah, we know this is a bit fucking dodgy, but just roll with it.
Yeah, he puts on a German accent then later, and then which is awful. And
the German accent, yeah, again showing how brilliantly competent everybody involved in this movie is. So he's trying to get in contact with his wife to give her a coded message to go meet him in London after he's escaped Paris, right?
That's it. Yeah.
And obviously he knows that the phone has been tapped, and so tapped in fact that there's actually a police sergeant in the house recording the phone calls and listening in. Okay, so he rings up, puts on a German accent, asks for another number, and gives the coded message. Like, your man, no, there's a guy out there who's responsible. You know, is he reporting to somebody going, Bill, did you get any strange... No, just a totally random wrong number from a guy who would appear to be a Welsh German accent, making a lot of what could only be described as heavily coded references. Yeah. Right? I would just start, what happened afterwards? Oh, his wife left the house immediately.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing to see here.
Bill, I think you need to come into the office and we need to have a good talk about your work ethic, to be honest with you.
Again, another reason for some form of review committee now connected to MI5. I think again.
I think Bill's being transferred to traffic, to be honest with you.
Yeah, we're here to make you better. Yeah. So, and then we get an American accent later on. I mean, it's extraordinary for a guy who can't do accents. He tries 3 of them in one film.
He does. Yeah. God.
It's just terrible. It's amazing. It's hugely entertaining for watching it happen, because you know he's not going to be able to pull it off. But it's, you know, kind of, why are you doing this? Do you want to jump back there to the wife, seeing as we mentioned the coded message there and his relationship with the wife?
So yeah, they're separated when the movie starts, and we find out through her telling him that the reason they're separated.
She tells him specifically.
You don't need to intuit anything, or there's no kind of glances or anything like that might kind of refer to deeply repressed memory, emotion, or feeling, or any of that. No, she just comes out and says, no, the reason that we are separated is because you are emotionally closed off.
Yeah,
and you prioritize your job over me and our son.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the wife gets a really rum deal. The poor actress playing her is just like, okay, so you're to be extremely distressed when your son is kidnapped, right? You will spend one scene in a hospital being sedated, because that's what happens to women when they're under stress. That is our knowledge of women.
Yes.
Then you will make a remarkable recovery, and a couple of hours later be out of hospital in your son's bedroom playing with his toy blocks.
Yeah.
And then you will make it another great recovery and be off for a hilarious bus journey with your husband.
The bus journey is brilliant.
Recalling the time you spent at the cinema.
Oh my God, the bus journey is brilliant. So at this point in the film, he's gotten back from Paris. He's smuggled himself into the country, and he's made the coded phone call.
How the fuck did he? I just forgot. How the fuck did he get back? Right, he's just been in a car accident.
Yes,
he's managed to stumble away from an attempt to kill him.
Yeah,
having again being in prison. So they would have taken his wallet off him. They would have taken his passport off him. Mm-hmm. Where the fuck does he get the money, and how does he get onto the hovercraft without a passport and without any fucking money?
Yeah, he gets the hovercraft back from France, by the way. And frankly, again, it doesn't matter. He's there. I mean, it's not like we're setting this up to be some magnificent film. I mean, just cut it a bit of slack. He's back in he's back in England. Let's get to the bus.
That shit annoys me. There's no attempt to kind of see him rob somebody's fucking wallet.
I know. It would have been great. It would have been great.
Just show that he's, this is how good a spy is. He has contacts in Paris that are able to set him up with a fake passport, and he gets it done in a couple of hours. And that, this isn't a movie that sort of gets to 2 hours. It's like 1 hour, 30 odd minutes. They could have afforded to include a couple of scenes that show him to be, somebody who's competent at being a spy.
Yeah. The one thing he does, in fairness, as a spy, he does actually kill people. We'll get onto that in a second. The bus journey, though, right? So he's come back from Paris, and he's arranged to meet the wife on this bus, and they're sitting there, and it's kind of like you've got to the point. I think there's probably maybe about a half an hour left in the film at this point, and it's got to the stage.
No, there is only 10 minutes left.
There's only 10 minutes left in it? Yeah. Get out of town. Okay, so 10 minutes left in the film, and they decide to do a kind of, well, here's the story so far, and here's where we are, and here's what's going to happen next. So they talk about the entire plot. They discuss the son. By the way, at this point now, having been, as Stephen said, having been sedated, not 15 minutes before, the wife has now turned into kind of Robin to his Batman, and she's sitting there going, okay, what do we need to do? Okay, we need to do this, and this, and then he's working it out in his head. Yeah, 2 windmills. Is this one? No, 2 windmills. And she's, there must be somewhere with 2 windmills close to each other. Yes, that's it. I'm off to the National Trust. So she gets off the bus. It's like treasure hunt. It's like the old Annika Rice treasure hunt. She's off the bus, off to the National Trust. She's looking through books and everything. Next thing, she finds the 2 windmills. One of them is black. And it's all happening now. It's pure exposition fairy stuff. It's Like, what the hell just happened? I didn't need to watch the previous hour and 10 minutes of this. I could have started watching the movie from here.
So basically, your man Drabble, this the criminal mastermind, decides, because he's comfortable in the knowledge that Tarrant is going to be arrested. He's going to frame Tarrant. Tarrant's going to be arrested. Then he's going to try to have him killed escaping. That he could tell him, he won't tell him exactly where his son is, but he would be cryptic enough to say, where your son is, he can see 2 windmills. Isn't that what he says?
That's exactly it. Why would that even come up in conversation?
Right, can I just say, he could see 2 windmills, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many windmills are in the movie?
2.
Where did they find the son?
In a windmill.
How many windmills are there, so?
2.
If you're in a windmill and you're looking out, you can see 2 windmills. How many windmills are there? Jesus Christ.
Very, very good. Good. I got you. See, this is as much attention as I was paying to the movie.
So your one is
that's fantastic.
Fucking Annika Rice is off at the fucking National Trust going, we've deduced exactly where it is. But you fucking haven't. What actually has happened in real life, your son is dead. You've had a lovely day trip out to fucking Brighton.
Oh, God. That's fantastic. Yeah. He can't see 2 windmills. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Maybe they give him so much LSD that he's just fucking hallucinating it, or he's got a concussion, or trying to get him out of jail.
I don't know. No, don't even bother. Look, it's cruise control Caine in this one. Any other stuff in the movie? The music, Roy Budd, Get Carter. I thought there was some funky tabla at work, but it's a pretty awful. It's kind of got a touch of Dirty Harry about it, I think, as well. Sub Dirty Harry.
Sub Dirty Harry. That's the most disappointing thing here. Is Don Siegel is a great action director. He's good at fucking propulsive fucking action. And this movie just is sputters. You start. There's no sense of momentum about it at all.
Yeah.
Caine put it down to the big issue with this movie was. Despite the fact this is another one of those ones that he doesn't really remember that much about, saying that it was they took on too much of an English sensibility for an American action movie.
What does that even mean?
I don't know what that means. I think it's focusing on the emotional repressed nature of the protagonist, whereas in an American movie he would have been far more, expressive, which I think is bullshit when you think about Dirty Harry. All he is fucking repressed rage,
exactly.
But Don Siegel, this is just, I know he had great aspirations, in terms of Drabble, how many Drabbles that there are, what is the story with this gang, blah, blah, blah. But none of that translates to the screen, and frankly, nobody fucking cares.
Nah.
John Vernon, God love him, does the best he can with the role.
John Vernon who played the angry mayor, wasn't it, in Dirty Harry?
And the crusty old Dean from Animal House.
Simpson!
Yeah, but Vernon as Vernon basically his face is his passport. He just looks like a prick. He looks like a bad man. So his face is and his voice do the heavy lifting here, but he does not have an awful lot to do in terms of being an evil genius or an evil mastermind. There's not an awful lot there.
No, there's not.
He does get shot in the dick though, which is kind of funny.
Oh yeah, shot in the cock and balls, up through some floorboards at the very, very end. It's a hell of a way to go. And is actually an echo of another Dirty Harry movie later on. It's Sudden Impact, where the serial killer going shooting men in the groin.
Clint Eastwood is cockshooter.
Cockshooter,
you're after sending 25 guys to the morgue with bullets in their dicks. What do you got to say for yourself?
Chief.
Oh,
man.
just
like shooting guys in the cock. You got a pretty good view of those shot-off cocks from your fucking 5th floor, ain't you? Cock shooter, you're a disgrace. You're fired. You can't fire a cock shooter. I resign.
It's a Tarantino thing, I think, as well, shooting guys in the cock and balls. I think Pulp Fiction comes to mind. Django. Someone gets shot in the groin in Django.
It's very
RoboCop.
RoboCop, the classic, the rapist right through the woman's skirt. Classic.
Yeah, so look, it's a thing. I'm not sure what he was going for here. There was actually really genuinely no need to shoot John Vernon through in the groin, but there we are. That's where we are. They had one. I know there are bits in this movie. Just think there's one that the gadget, the exploding, they had an exploding.
Oh god,
briefcase.
the bizarre scene. I don't know what they were aiming for.
There's spycraft for you now. There's spycraft for you. An exploding briefcase.
They gave Donald Pleasance his kind of URQ in Bond scene where he's wandering through, the shop floor while lads are testing out various gadgets, and they set up this briefcase that will a briefcase gun essentially. Now, if you notice again, this is another an example of their fantastic attention to detail. The boffin explains to Donald Pleasance how it works.
Mm-hmm.
Donald Pleasance then operates it in reverse and in order to fire it.
I didn't cop that.
Yeah. There was
fantastic.
I paid far too much attention to this.
You really did. And I tell you how much attention you paid. You spotted something that had completely passed me by as well. And it's this self-referential crap that suddenly appears in this movie, a Caine movie. So clearly it's kind of like, well, Caine is so famous and his lifestyle is so famous. We can now start making references to Michael Caine here.
Yeah.
So like the first thing that happens is when they're talking about the IRA and this arms smuggling group, there's a reference to the contact being, his name is Sean Kelly, but there's a reference to him being Sean Connery. And there's an immediate flash to Caine's character, like just a shot of Caine. I'm going, oh, for fuck's sake, lads. And then you spotted, he's in the bus or somewhere? Anyway, they're going along.
The coded message that he sends to his old doll is basically essentially, we will meet up at the Dominion Theatre.
Yes.
It's a cinema. And she gets to the car, makes her way over to the Dominion Theatre. There, blazoned over the theatre is Battle of Britain.
Yeah. Which, by the way, Battle of Britain would by that stage would have been out about 5 years.
Yeah. I know how the British like to really hold on to things. Yeah. So it's probably not outside the realms of possibilities.
It's possible, I suppose. But oh God, you're just sitting there. No, don't. Is this going to be a thing now? Self-referential Caine bits and
meta shit. Yeah. We can do it over.
No, I don't think there's much else to be said really about this. Is there? Like the reviews are mundane enough. I've got a New York Times one here in front of me. So it's like, again, it's the era. It says in the age of Watergate, we need nimbler or more fantastic material to engage us, to grab our attention from wondering what might be on the news tonight. It was produced by Richard Zanuck and David Brown, who had done The Sting with Robert Redford and Paul Newman, and their next job was going to be Jaws. Like they assumed they put Don Siegel and Mick Caine together, that will equal cash, even if it's a British audience, it'll equal money. It was a complete
Had they not looked at his previous filmography?
Oh, sure. Clearly, nobody does. Nobody does. It seems to me that Caine is getting by Sleuth, at this point, Sleuth, Get Carter, Italian Job, Alfie, and everything else is just pushed to the background in people's minds, even guys who are giving him jobs. And the fact that they say he's just a thoroughly nice chap, and they go, this guy will be great to work with, it's just going to be great fun, and we can do it, and it's going to make a big pot of cash. Siegel plus Caine, yeah. Roger Ebert reckoned it committed the one crime that no thriller can be pardoned for. It's not thrilling, which I think is a pretty reasonable thing.
There's no sense of peril. There's no sense of peril about it. They don't establish it. Like I said, go back to what I said. They don't establish the character. They don't get you to sympathize with anyone in it. Everybody's pretty much awful. It is.
Yeah, it's a movie that I don't think it was ever re-released, whether Blu-ray or DVD or any of those things back to years. It just one of these 70s movies by Caine that just disappeared without a trace.
Yeah, in no way is this a lost classic or anything like this. Is nothing that you'd kind of stumble across at 2:00 in the morning or anything that you go, wow, this is pretty good. It's not good. It's not terrible, it's not good. It's not a thriller. It's not a thriller. Like the fucking kid gets you should be invested at least in the kid getting out of there alive and nothing happened to him. But quite honest with you, I wouldn't have been overly upset if anything happened to him. In real life, obviously that would be terrible. But the fictional son here kind of going,
yeah, meh, whatever. Yeah. It's just a bit bland and a bit meh. And again, we're back in that space of, he's made a really... I thought Sleuth was really... I know you didn't like it as much as I did. I thought Sleuth was really enjoyable. And now we're back into this kind of Sunday afternoon sort of beigeness. And he's, it's kind of like he's high on domestic life. He's taking this gig because it's Don Siegel, I presume. And it's going to be a nice thriller. But, again, even in tone and texture and everything else, even though it's Dirty Harry's director, and there are elements of kind of Dirty Harry camera work and stuff in it, it bears no kind of resemblance to the feel of what would have been considered the best movies of the time, doesn't it not? It's not edgy in the way of what was going on, with, I suppose, Coppola and all these guys in an entirely parallel universe that seems to be going on away from Caine.
No, it's still very much of the style of movies at least 5 years before. There's no progression here at all. Oh no, it's boobies. I suppose that's probably the only kind of hat tip towards modernity. Movies.
Yes, there is some, and but they move along pretty quickly. No more than we will know. marks out of Caine. We're not marking the movie, marking the man's performance. And I can sense by the tone of our voices, it's a bit like whatever.
The only bit part of this movie where you finally go, yes, he's putting in a bit of welly, is towards the end where he finally loses the rag and you see a bit of emotion in his character to kind of think, yeah, more of that would have been good.
We've
more
seen
kind of controlled rage.
We've seen like there are like it's kind of like he's reaching for what he did in Carter, that kind of simmering rage throughout it that just explodes really well from time to time. It just doesn't really explode. But yeah, you're right. There is some bits. There is a bit at the end where you can see that you can see that there's something there. Like
yeah, and again, it's all taken. That then is kind of undone by the frankly goofy shootout towards the end, toward the windmill, with him hiding, using a bag of flour as body armor at one particular stage.
Right, yeah.
Then essentially cowering for a good minute on screen with his hand over his head until drops of blood land in his hand and he could tell that Drabble's above him. Like, I mean, there's no... what the hell were you doing, Don Siegel?
Yeah, absolutely. Very strange. Very, very strange. And it was a shock to all concerned that this union didn't result in at least a profitable movie. What are you giving them? What are you giving them, McCain, for this?
Oh, it's a 5.
Yeah, I can't give more than 5, 6. I mean, it's cruising, Caine. It's not that he's bad in it or anything. It's just like, it's just meh. The whole thing is a big whole pile of meh. I think is what can all be said. And the next movie up, actually, and again, I have this dragging feeling about it. It's called The Marseille Contract, continuing this run of movies that begin with the word the.
Are you in Marseille for business or pleasure, Mr. Lewis? Well, both, really.
Do you want, well...
All I would say, two things that I know about it. It's been referred to as a knockoff of The French Connection. And
okay.
It's also the first movie that Caine honestly admits to taking up simply because it suited his family requirements.
Yes. Okay. And yeah, and we can see, like, this is it now. Domestic Caine is taking over. And we can see it a little bit in this movie, and we'll see it in the very choice of The Marseille Contract. Tony Quinn comes back again. Last scene in Vegas. Saw him in Vegas. He's back, baby. James Mason is in there. I know nothing about this film, to be honest. I think again, and what worries me about it as well, I have an idea it might have 2 names. Remember, Z and Co had 2 names. They couldn't really even figure out what the hell to call it. If they can't figure out what the hell to call this, seems to be another Caine movie that was made and then crushed into a can almost immediately. But we'll find out.
And I will do my due diligence in finding out some way of shoehorning a terrible footballing joke into the title of the movie, The Marseille Contract, referring in some way to a famous footballer trying to sign for Marseille.
You do that, and we'll all be very excited.
Did Zidane play for Marseille?
I'm not giving you any clues. No, you go off now and do your homework. I'm not cutting the corners for you.
I know, that was my homework. My homework.
No, off you go now.
You are my sports Google.
Yeah, sports Google. Spoogle. I'm Spoogle. Okay, listen, we'll probably leave it at that, will we?
I think so. Yeah, we've spoken enough of Black Windmill.
Oh my God, far more than anybody has ever spoken about it since 1974. So listen, thanks for listening. Go and have a listen, or go have a listen. Go have a look at the Marseille Contract. And you know what? Even if you don't see the Marseille Contract, don't worry about it. Just come back. We'll fill in all the dots. We'll join the dots and fill in the blanks. We'll see you the next time.
Yeah, and as usual, for all the updates on Marco Caine, follow us at MarcoCaine2 on the Twitter. Like and subscribe. That's how we will shoot our way up the charts and make millions and millions of euros, as is my understanding from how this podcasting system works.
That's exactly what I read on a website one time, some time ago.
Yes, that's it from us. We'll talk to you soon.
Take it easy.
That's it for this week's episode. Thanks for listening. Make sure to like and subscribe. Maybe leave a comment. Only nice ones, though. Mean comments will make Alfie cry, and no one wants to see that. The Marco Caine podcast is written, researched, and presented by Stephen Black and Michael Foley, and edited by Andrew Foley. Music is composed by Stephen Black. If you'd like to get in touch, you'll find us on Twitter at Mallow News and at Marco Caine2. And if you enjoyed this episode, you'll find all the rest wherever you get your podcasts. The Marco Caine is a Mallow News 2 Cubes production. See you next time.